can't live this close to the ocean without cooking the fruits of the sea. Let's cook. Welcome back to the kitchen, everybody. Another episode of Cooking with Chef Threads. I'm Devlin. If you're new here, welcome. We're going to start this off by, this is a method called burping your shellfish. The clams and the mussels, put them in separate pots, and I'm going to fill them up with like somewhat very, very salty water like the ocean. Shellfish hold a lot of sand in them, and this method is called burping, and you want to get the sand out of them. I don't know if anybody who's ever went to a restaurant and they get, maybe like a linguine and clam sauce, and you've got a clam and you got a little bit of sand in it. That's because they probably didn't burp their clams. I know it sounds a funny term, but honestly, that's what it is. You see here I'm putting the salt in the water. I did this 3 times, where you put them in the, submerge them in the water, leave them in there for about an hour or so, and then you're going to see the clams open up and they'll actually spit the sand out. Hence the name burping. And then that's how you remove the sand out of them. Here, this is after all the burping process, and I am now taking the clams out. If you notice, there's a little piece of, right here, there's a little piece of like seaweed, and that is called the beard. And you want to remove the beard. That's what they use to hang on to in the ocean. And you really don't want to chew on that. It's gross. So that's me. This is me removing the beard out of the mussels. Basically what you do is just get a hold of it, kind of wiggle it back and forth while pulling at the same time, and it'll release. And as you see here, there's a couple shells over on the right-hand side there. Those are the ones that are beat up or opened. I usually don't like to cook with those because they could be, spoiled, or they're obviously dead. And I like to get rid of those. Next, we're going to do some shrimp here, peel and devein it. This is a method that I've done for a while. You can do it many different ways. Sometimes it kind of shreds it up a little bit, but I believe these were frozen at one point in time. I could tell when I first bought them, but it's all good. So you see here, I got the back of the fork there, and if you hit it on the back of the very top of the shrimp, and you can run that fork down and through there, and it'll actually take the shell off right here, as you see, and pull the poop chute, we call it. It'll pull right out of there. It's quick, it's fast. Yes, I'm just going to speed this up. All right, now we're going to get all of our produce cut up for our dish. Chop up some garlic here. Just a rough chop, guys. I mean, I kind of wanted some nicer chunks in this dish. If only I could chop that fast in real life. Next, we're going to do some shallot. And I'm not going to dice this because I actually wanted like the rings of shallot. For our parsley, I'm cutting the stems off here, but save the stems because we're going to use those to cook our clams and mussels in. And the same thing with the parsley. Typically, when you have a dish and you want to add parsley to it, you fine chop it. But with this, I want to keep the parsley a little bit thicker, just to give it more flavor. This is the flat leaf Italian parsley. If it was regular curly leaf, it'd be different, but this is a flat leaf. just have a couple grape tomatoes here. All right, next we're gonna make some fresh pasta for this. If you haven't made fresh pasta before, it's one of the most, everybody thinks that it's so time consuming and it's hard and not anybody can't do it, but it's very, very easy to be honest with you. And it's just, most of the time, if you're making this type of pasta, it's just flour and egg. That's it. And you see I have flour here, and you make it almost look like a little volcano. Make a little spot for your eggs, and these are just egg yolks. And you put your egg in there, beat it up a little bit, make sure all your eggs are beat up before you start incorporating your flour. And that's why we make a little bit of a dome like that, so that way you can do that, and then now you start adding in your flour slowly. You know, you're just trying to get everything incorporated slowly. And once you get the hang of it, it's not that hard. And fresh pasta is, so much better than store-bought pasta. Now, if you wanted to make, another pasta like cavatelli or gnocchi, cavatelli, just same, flour, egg, and a little bit of water. And then gnocchi, you can either do flour, egg, and potato, or you can do ricotta cheese. All right, now you see here, now that I got everything pretty much incorporated, now I'm going to start using my hands and really start mixing it together to make a nice dough. And you can see how it's starting to get that nice yellowish color. That's the egg. This was a little bit wet, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour to it, but yeah, it's a little bit wet, so I'm going to add some flour to that. And for this batch of pasta, I did 1 egg yolk per half cup of flour. And now you can see it's really starting to tighten up. And there you go, guys. There's a perfect dough ball for pasta. See how it's still soft, but still a little bit firm at the same time? That's perfect. That's what we're looking for. Now you notice, just kind of push it down a little bit, make almost like a little bit of a pancake, and then we're going to start putting it through our pasta machine, making our pasta sheets. Little story about this pasta maker. This actually was my grandfather's. And so it has been in my family for probably 40 years. And this is actually the machine that he taught me how to make pasta on when I was 4 or 5 years old. So it has been in our family ever since then. And when he passed away, my grandmother wanted me to have it. So there's a lot of history behind this pasta machine, and kept it in the family. And, obviously one day when I have children, this will be passed down to them as well. But here you see, it's very easy, guys. You just put your dough in there, crank it, and you can see how it's starting to press the dough. And you see where I'm folding it. I'm going to give you a better view here in a second. But you just keep going through there a couple times until you start to see your dough sheet really get a little bit thinner and the consistency that you're looking for. So So here's a better angle for you here. You see how it's kind of beat up a little bit still. Just fold it over again, press it one more time, and then run it through again. See, it gets better and better almost every time. I did for each section of that dough ball, I ran it through the machine about 3 times. And then I changed, you're going to see down the road, you're going to see I changed the setting to a thinner piece. See, now we're going to the thinner section. That's perfect. All right, now let's make our pasta. I have the attachment here. This is like in between. I wanted to do pappardelle, but I'm in between a linguine and a fettuccine. So there you go. I mean, it's that easy, guys. It's so easy to make fresh pasta if you have the right tools. Always salt your water. Now let's cook our clams and mussels. Typically, I like to do these separately, but I was pressed for time this evening. So I did both together. And what you want to do is I do a little bit of olive oil and garlic, and then those stems from the parsley that we had. Throw all that in there. Now typically when you do this, obviously you want your oil to be heated up before you start adding this stuff in, but for what I wanted to do for this is I wanted the garlic and the oil and the parsley all to infuse together. So that's why I had it in there on a cold burner. So now I have this on a high heat. Once we get up to temperature, add in my clams and my mussels, and I just put a bunch of white wine in there, put a lid on it, and let it ride until those things open up. As soon as they open up, they are done. We're going to drain them, but save the juice because we need it for our Frutti Di Mare. So now we're going to start our frutti with some olive oil, our sliced shallots that we had, the rest of our garlic. I like a lot of garlic in my Frutti Di Mare. A little bit of crushed red pepper. Salt and pepper, obviously. Add in our sliced tomatoes. Get a nice blanch on those guys. I'm sorry, nice blister on them. I apologize with the camera. I kept trying to focus and it kept not focusing, so I apologize on that. Add in our white wine to glaze the pan. You don't want to add too much white wine because the juice that we saved from this is stewed tomatoes here. Just add a little bit of stewed tomatoes. You don't want to add too much white wine because the white wine that I used to cook with the clams and the mussels, I wanted to save that liquid, and I'm putting that liquid back into my Frutti Di Mare. So that's why I don't want to put too much white wine in there. Now you'll see here, I get a ladle. There's our juice from our clams and mussels, and putting that back into my dish. Get everything incorporated here. Give it a taste. Make sure your seasoning's on point. If not, add a little bit more salt and pepper if need be. I'm actually going to add a little bit more salt to this. All right, now we can start adding our seafood. The shrimp is not going to take long to cook, as well as the scallops and the calamari. These fish, these fish, they cook very, very quickly. The shrimp is going to take a little bit longer than the calamari and the scallops, though. So that's why I put them in first. And this, again, this is on a like a medium heat right now. So there we go. Our shrimp's starting to turn a little bit pink. I'm going to flip them over. They don't take long, and you don't want your shrimp to be chewy. It tastes like a rubber band. All right, next let's add in our scallops. I just use bay scallops. And our calamari. Again, these guys, they cook very, very fast, and you really don't want them to overcook these. Perfect, that's looking beautiful. I love the colors of a Frutti Di Mare. This is always a really good dish around Christmas time. Adding a little bit more juice from our clams and mussels that we saved. And again, guys, there's multiple recipes for Frutti Di Mare, and you know, this is just one that I have done for many, many years, and it's just how this is my recipe that I've done for a long time, and you can do it any way you'd like. Yeah, see, there we go. Everything's starting to look good now. See that calamari? The calamari rings kind of curl up a little bit on the outsides. That's kind of giving me the gesture that they're close to being done, if not done already. And there's now our cooked clams and mussels. We're adding those back into our pan. That way we can have everything all together now, all incorporated. Beautiful dish. I love this dish. If you're a seafood lover like myself, this is one of my favorites. There's our fresh flat leaf Italian parsley. You see why I wanted to keep it kind of rough chopped. Let's drop our pasta here. Now, using fresh pasta, it's not going to take long to cook. So this is our salty water. Drop it in there for maybe 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 8 tops. It's not going to take long, guys. Now, typically I would toss the pasta in with this, but that pan was overloaded. So just going to dump the juice right on the pasta there. It was perfect. It worked out great. And who wouldn't like a nice glass of red wine with this pasta dish? Guys, this dish was absolutely amazing. I really hope you guys can make it yourself and enjoy it. And if you have any questions, please leave in the comments. Thank you. Now that's a Frutti Di Mare. Don't forget the thread, baby.